So, I'm 50 in the early part of next year, and I've been riding bikes of one sort or another since I was a kid. BMX, mountain bikes, onto road bikes, gravel bikes these days as well, but one bike or another since I was a kid. I think I learned when I was about 5, and it was a big thing for me, like growing up and all through my childhood. Anyway, 50 now nearly, and a few things that I've learnt in that time that I just wanted to pass on and talk to other people my age really, and just say, you know, just see how you feel about it and what changes you've made to your riding as you've got that little bit older. The first thing is these days to be comfortable. So I've stopped trying to look pro, stopped going for that hunched up pro massive saddle to bar drop, all gone for shorter reach, longer stem. I've gone for a bit more of an upright riding position on things like the gravel bike here. As you can see, the stem's not very long at all. Completely just stopped going for that pro look and just decided to be comfortable. You tend to find as you get older, I think, that the rides get slower and longer, and I think your endurance improves quite a lot. So I'm happy with longer, slow rides now. I've stopped chasing things and chasing segments and trying to look pro, and yeah, all gone. The second thing, and again it's partially linked to comfort, is wider tyres. When I started on a road bike, I think the tyres were 23mm, 25 was considered wide. Now even the pros are riding on 30mm tyres on tour stages, and with the gravel bike thing, obviously tyres are getting wider and wider and wider, and there is evidence out there to prove that it doesn't make that much difference to speed. You can still be quite fast, sometimes faster on a wider tyre. So a lot of road bikes now have got capacity to take 32, 34, sometimes 40mm tyres, and I think that's going to keep happening. That's going to keep, tyres are going to keep getting wider. On gravel bikes now, tyres are sort of up to 55s, which is huge. This is a 50 on the front of the gravel bike here, but it wasn't so long ago the 40 was a wide gravel tyre, and already now we're seeing 55s. So wider tyre, lower pressure, much more comfortable. So that's another thing that's definitely changed since I started. The other one was a bit of a surprise really, was crank length. I found this out about 10 years ago. I was struggling with a little bit of knee pain in my left knee, and I always have to one degree or another, and I was riding 172mm cranks, and somebody suggested to me that I try shorter cranks, so I ordered an Ultegra 165 crank set. So cranks became shorter, changes your hip angle. The saddle went up slightly to compensate for the length change, but it was an absolute revelation. If you're a spinner, which I tend to spin quite high-ish cadence, the shorter cranks are brilliant. It really works. It's worth looking into. I mean, the cranks are starting to come out now as low as short as 150mm. Very few people need 175. 175 was, you know, on a lot of bikes for a long time, and it's just a massive crank arm for most people. So yeah, look into the shorter crank length thing. There's loads of articles and YouTube videos and things you can look at, but there is something in it. Definitely the shorter crank definitely helped me with my knee, and I think it was a worthwhile investment. You know, it was something that lots of places don't stock the shorter cranks. You have to actually order them, but it's, once you figure out what you need, it's well worth going for. What else? Basically I've stopped measuring my rides. So no more Strava, no more segments, all that kind of thing now. You know, if I want to stop for a coffee on a ride, I'll stop for a coffee on a ride. And the whole thing is just done at a bit more of a leisurely pace. Don't get me wrong, if I'm out with a mate and, you know, we want to give it some stick, then we will do. You know, we do have days where we give it a bit of stick and come back breathing out your ears. But a lot of the time now it can be a slower, not slow, but slower, more steady paced ride, maybe with a stop in the middle. Excuse me. And it's a different way of riding. It's switching off all the electronics. I've said this before, I know. The Strava and all that. Switching all that off and just riding like you rode when you were a kid. As I always say that, I know, but you just get on the bike and go, and you're not worried about all that stuff. It's brilliant. And as I get older, I'm finding I care less and less about all that stuff. And I know there are people in their 50s that are competing in veteran races and things. I think that's amazing. If you've still got that level of commitment, then that's fantastic. But if you're looking to just, you know, ride for enjoyment and ride for fitness, it doesn't have to be that kind of flat out thing that I was doing in my 20s and 30s and even my 40s, where I was chasing segments all the time and constantly looking for an extra 3 seconds off a hill climb and stuff like that. You know, it's become a different thing now, and it's more social. I ride with a mate a lot now, as well as on my own still. But yeah, that's just a few things really that I've found, you know, coming to being 50 now. And basically what it comes down to is you're a bit slower, you need to be a bit more comfortable, and you're punishing yourself just that little bit less. It doesn't mean you can't punish yourself, but it's not quite as intense as it was, and it's a nice feeling, it really is. But let me know what changes you've made to your cycling as you've got older, or have you not? Are you still flat out? Are you still competing? Are you still, you know, on the same form you were on 20 years ago? But yeah, let me know what you do.